Hello, cabezas de chorlito. Color and pattern is one of the first things that we use to identify birds. And I'm sure that some of you already begun studying all the details of the birds in your area. You probably give up everything else in your life other than birds, and you're studying very, very hard for so many hours, every single color, every single pattern on every single bird and every single feather in your area. So the next time that you go, whoa, wait, hold your horses. Today I'm going to explain about 6 different ways in which birds can look something different than your field guide. For this video I'm going to use Birds of Chile by Álvaro Jaramillo, but this doesn't mean that the explanations apply only to Chile. So make sure you check your field guide depending on the country you live. Sometimes we're bird watching and we get very, very excited because what we see doesn't match any picture on the book. Why is that? Ooh, a bird that we thought it was extinct. Nope. How about a migrant that got lost and disoriented? Oh my god, I discovered a new species. Yeah, you wish. Sorry to disappoint, but the answer to the mystery is much, much simpler than that. Number 1, the name of the bird. Sometimes we use the name to look for a field mark that will help us identify the bird. And then we have names like the white-rumped sandpiper. But it's so hard to see the rump. Well, that's why we end up looking for other field marks. Bear in mind that many of these names came up after scientists studied dead specimens on a table really, really close. So many of the features described are really hard to see from the distance. In other cases, the name includes something that is not unique to the bird. For example, grassland yellow finch or greater yellow finch. I mean, they are both yellow. That reminds me of my favorite transformer, Bumblebee. In the 80s, it used to be a Volkswagen Beetle, but now it's a Camaro. So the name, it's also very misleading. And many countries use words that come from native language. For example, we call this bird choike from Mapudungun, and this one we call it biwa from Guarani. Number 2, different morphs. What's a morph? A morph is a variation in color within a species. So there are several species that come in different colors. And for practical reasons, you can't really include all the color variations of all the different species in one field guide. Otherwise, it'll be very, very heavy. Some examples of species that have different morphs are the pygmy owl and of course the variable hawk. That reminds me of Optimus Prime from the Transformers. Did you notice that he looks different on every single movie? But it's the same Optimus Prime. Number 3, body language. Just like us, birds can communicate their feelings by using their body. In many cases, you will notice that there is a crest, meaning that the bird is agitated. Or it looks a little bit chubbier because maybe it's cold. Or the neck is a little bit more extended than normal. With time and practice, you will learn to identify the different variations in shape. Sexual dimorphism. Males and females sometimes display different plumage. In some cases, the female is like a faded version of the male. In other cases, the female looks like from a different species altogether. But bear in mind that the shape remains the same. Have you ever dressed for a dinner party and then when you meet your better half, then you realize that you picked similar colors on your outfit? Oh, no, that has never happened to me. Number 5, Selfadults. In many species, fledglings keep their plumage for a whole year, and during that time, they look like females. In some other cases, they look like a washed version of adults. Juvenile gulls, they have a cycle of 3 years molting until they reach their adult plumage. Many juvenile raptors keep their juvenile plumage for several years. Oh, note that the word juvenile refers to the plumage, and juvenile refers to the young bird itself. Number 6, seasonal changes. Throughout the year, different species undergo a process of molt and wear. Molting can be partial or total. During molting, the whole feather comes off. In songbirds, complete molting normally takes place after the breeding season. It's very dangerous to keep the brighter plumage during the whole year in a world full of predators. Partial molting might include the feathers on the body, but not necessarily the ones on the wings and the tail. And this one actually provides a brighter color for the breeding season. Shorebirds, when they are in the northern hemisphere, they have a much brighter, colorful plumage. When they come to the southern hemisphere, they lose those colors and they are duller. Other birds take advantage of the natural process of wearing of the feather to change their color. Wearing refers to losing the tip of the feather and exposing the color that is below. For example, European starlings. He has a prominent buff color on the tip of the feather. This is after molting at the end of the summer. And when the spring comes back, the tip is worn off and exposes the bright black color with the spots that we know of. I'm going to make one last reference to the Transformers. If you remember Optimus Prime on the Age of Extinction, in one scene he looks very 80s. And then he drives by another truck and shades into another more colorful truck. So that can also happen to the feathers. So you can think of exfoliation. To sum up, 6 ways in which the bird looks different than the book. Numero 1. The name has a feature that is difficult to see from the distance. Numero 2. Morphs. Number 3, body language. Number 4, sexual dimorphism. Number 5, subadults. Number 6, seasonal changes. All these variations in color and pattern seems like a lot to take in. With time and practice, you will be able to organize all the different clues, put them together, and identify the birds. And it's okay if you don't get it the first time or the second or the third. That is the beauty of bird watching. There's always a new challenge. There's always something new to see. Thanks for watching this episode of Cabeza de Chorlito. Look for me on Facebook and Instagram. And if you want to continue learning with us, don't forget to subscribe. Share this video. But most important, share what you learned. And in that way, there will be more birders that care about conservation. Birding for learning, learning for sharing, and sharing for caring. Transformers, more than meets the eye. Transformers, Autobots wage their battle to destroy the evil forces of the Decepticons. Transformers, robots in disguise.